What is the most disgusting thing you have ever done that you took pleasure in? My wife and I had two wonderful daughters, 13 and 10, and a pretty healthy relationship. At some point things started to appear off. She got very clingy to her phone all of a sudden, made sure to delete the saved password feature on our common PC, stated having phone calls that suddenly ended when I came into the room. You can probably guess what it was. Now having 15 years of marriage behind us, I was hoping it wasn't what it obviously seemed to be. So one day when she told me she was going to spend some time with the girls, I decided to follow her. Sure enough, I find her driving to a hotel to meet with a guy I will call Steve. To say it was a gut punch was an understatement. I literally cried for an hour straight. After I was done with my self-wallowing phase, I decided the best course was getting even. I thought of several scenarios that may or may not have involved me hurting Steve. Eventually I decided to do things more civilly and more importantly legally, but only just. So the first part of the plan was gathering evidence. I could have just gotten a pie, but I had something better in mind. So one day when my wife was at her job and the kids at school, I installed some small secret cameras and microphones I had bought. Due to the setup of our bedroom, I even managed to get one perfectly overlooking the bed. I didn't however use them while I was at home. So a couple of days pass, when I proposed to my wife that the second to next weekend I should take the girls on a trip and stay a night too. I more often than not was the one cooking. I took a far more active role in raising the girls and showed them a lot more patience and attention. She was usually busy working or drinking, so me going alone with the girls on a trip wasn't that weird. So 2 weeks pass, in which time I get my affairs in order and contact a lawyer to write up a separation agreement that would involve me keeping residents in custody. I go on the trip, try to not give anything away to the girls and wait and see if Steve and my wife fall into the trap. When I returned I checked the recordings of the weekend, and sure enough it's a 36-hour fest. When they weren't doing the deed, the dialogue was something even better. I found out that Steve had a wife, but even worse, they also talked about me. And I heard the obvious character assassination that I expected about how small my PP was, an insecurity of mine, how I didn't satisfy her. But there was some really hurtful stuff, like her telling Steve some of my deepest secrets and shameful stories that I had only told her about, just so they could have a laugh. She even told him about my dope story and how I attempted to take my life when I was 16. So at this point I didn't have any doubts on what to do. The next day when the kids left, but before my wife left, I confronted her with the video and told her that either she signs the separation agreement and leaves the house or the girls are going to receive an in-depth explanation of all the positions in which mommy cheated on daddy. I wasn't going to do that. Just to be clear, I love my daughters too much, but I put the threat there and she was too emotional to realize my bluff. She went through all the stages, denying everything, trying to bargain, threatening me, and getting angry. I let it go through all that stuff. Eventually she signed the paper and she departed that very evening after she told her goodbyes to the girls. I didn't show or tell the girls anything graphic. I was always very honest with them, which is another reason why I was always the favorite parent, so I just said that mommy had been unfaithful. The younger took some time figuring it out, but that was made up by my older getting mightily upset. She had just gotten her first boyfriend, as I'm not sure the term really applies at that age, but she knew enough of the world to get mad big time. This would be important at a would-be custody battle, as though she did for the moment agree to give over custody. I feared, and I was right to fear, that she would try and fight me for the kids. What I didn't expect was for her to use her visitation rights to talk crap about me. Basically she started telling my younger kid about how it was all my fault for not forgiving her. Her lawyer even started demanding she receive custody.
It always amazed me that women that even find good husbands, good fathers, that they will still find a fault in them, that they will still find a reason to destroy their relationship. Now, no one's perfect, but I can't understand that you don't even make the effort to do what you can to make it better. I get it, right? A lot of women are so controlled by their emotion. They want those butterflies. They want those feelings of, like, I don't know, first time having sex with someone, first time meeting someone, all those things, those firsts. But it's like, come on, in life, you should be an adult. There's more things to, to life than these butterflies and these first moments. You have something that you built with a man. You have a family, you have a marriage. So I can't believe, it's like, if you feel that way, that if you feel so strongly about that, why not divorce the person? Really just break up the marriage, because you're pretty much doing that anyway. So these are the type of women that wants it all, right? They want the cake and they want to eat it too, as the saying goes. But that's the problem, where they're selfish. They're just utterly selfish, where they think about no one but themselves. And that's why I said it plenty of times, that women are so controlled by their emotions. And when you're controlled by your emotions, you're unbelievably selfish, because you're thinking about you. You're thinking about how you feel. You're thinking about what will make you, I don't know, happy, right? And at the end of the day, if you are the only one that matters, then you should be by yourself. That's why it's like these type of women are the scum of the earth, because they created something special and they are willing to destroy it for, I don't know, fleeting moments. Because I always think about this, right? I always think it's a little bit different for men and women. If you can have sex with someone else, I believe, right, for a woman, that means emotion usually comes along with it. I don't think it's a rare case. I don't think it's common for a woman to just want to have sex just for sex purpose, because not all new partners, right? Not all men can satisfy you like that. So, like, women, I've heard it where a lot of times, a lot of sexual experiences of women, they're not that satisfied, right? They don't, it's not.
So I finally activated my revenge plan. Enter trip to South Carolina. Why South Carolina? Simple. Fort Sumter. I really wanted my daughters to see it. I definitely did not go there because it is one of the last places where revenge porn isn't illegal, and where I could upload my wife and Steve's doings and intimate moments with no worries on the internet and other such sites, as you cannot be prosecuted for crimes that weren't illegal when and where they were committed. I especially made sure to include the clip where Steve could not get it up. I sent the links to my wife's employer, her clients, and everybody in her line of work just to be sure, to Steve's wife and to his firm. Steve soon got a divorce. I feel sorry for his wife as she was an innocent victim in all of this, but I think it's better that she found out. As for my wife, this was the end of any chance to get custody. She soon got fired from her job of 8 years. I got custody. Yes, due to her being unemployed, I got no alimony, but honestly I make enough money to sustain both me and the girls, so I don't care, and I'm good enough at caring for them, and they are old enough to allow me to have a full-time job. Several months later, my wife is still unemployed. Last time I spoke to her wife, she threatened to come and take my life, and how this will be revenge for ruining hers.
It's just not satisfying experiences from what I've heard by, women saying that, the one-night stands and stuff like that, usually not that sexually satisfying. So there's usually an emotional connection too, right? There's an emotional feeling that would that comes along with these sexual encounters to make it, satisfying in a way. So really, you're not just physically cheating, you're emotionally cheating on your man. So really, how can you love someone when you're not just physically, but emotionally? So he pretty much has you physically and emotionally. So what does your husband have? I mean, what does he get? He's not getting your emotions. He's not getting your heart, right? He's not getting your body. So this is the thing where it works both ways, right? Men shouldn't cheat as well. But the difference a lot of times with men, it's really physical. I'm not saying there's no emotion sometimes, but I think a lot of times it's just plainly physical, where men just want the release, so there's difference to it. But like I said, it will still apply for men as well. You shouldn't be cheating, but I think it's a lot worse for women, because a lot of times for the satisfaction, there has to be an emotional connection as well. Some form of an emotional connection, right? Some kind of emotional attachment, or just emotions have to be involved just for them to get the most pleasure out of it as possible. So that's another level of cheating, and just another level that just not another level of betrayal. So I'm just saying, like, women like this is just unbelievable. Why not? Why, if you're going to destroy marriage, then you might as well just break up before you take that step, because you want the emotional connection of someone else. And I gotta admit, right, he's amazing. It's good that he took all those steps that's needed to secure his children. So very commendable. He didn't go into detail how his relationship was, but maybe he wasn't in his masculine or hold boundaries, or because he said that he took care of his kids most of the time, or maybe he also took care of a lot of chores. So he may had more of a feminine role where he wasn't in his masculinity, where he wasn't truly the leader of the relationship. So that could be another fault in the relationship as well. So yeah.